provides to Ukraine. Yes, Devika.
Okay, Aditya, stay on with us. Major Sudhakarji with us on the broadcast as well. Major Sudhakarji, in a way, of course, the entire world does want the war to stop, which is the simple point that President Donald Trump is also raising at this point in time, that why this war was allowed to go on for so long, he does not understand that thousands of innocent lives have been lost. How do you think he's really now going to navigate the entire situation? Because after everything that's happened in the White House, after that spat, we've also now learned that Volodymyr Zelenskyy has come out and said that he regrets that spat with Donald Trump during the press conference, and that he's now willing to work under the leadership of Trump to come up with a solution to the war. But what do you think that solution will really look like beyond the US essentially getting the mineral deal that they want?
Devika, good morning. Excellent question raised by you. And I myself, being a student of geopolitics and military science, I would say at least there is somebody in the world in 21st century who's talking about bringing this mindless conflict to an end. Till date, everyone was stoking fire, putting fuel to the fire, and making sure that the conflict continued eternally. So he is the man who has got very deep conviction. He has understood the nuances supporting this particular conflict within his own country, the deep state. So there are a lot of forces inimical which are actually adding fuel to the fire and ensuring that the conflict must go on. Now, coming straight to your question, Devika, about the mineral deal and looking beyond the mineral deal. First and foremost thing that we need to understand, the threat in 20th century was a different kind of a threat in 21st century. 21st century is no longer the steam engine or the era of, you go through a chronological industrial kind of a development or industrial revolution, which in the initial part of 19th century witnessed. So in 21st century, it is a digital world. It is a world which is characterized by Internet of Things, by social media, by autonomous support system, by AI, artificial intelligence, etc., etc. And hence, the whole issue is going to be driven by the central point. The central point of all this is nothing but the mineral. Now, today, if I share with our viewers that more than 90% of critical mineral in the world is dominated by China, be it the processing or the production of a very high percentage. In fact, the machinery required to extract, mine, segregate, and refine, process, and finally come to a product is also dominated by China, both the hard variety and the soft variety. So under these circumstances, if US has to continue as a sustainable, meaningful, effective superpower, not as a declining power, then I think Trump has put his finger on the right issue. So mineral, we all know Donbas region is completely, it is full of rare earth elements. I was reading somewhere they mentioned about tungsten, titanium, such like things. You have germanium. These kind of minerals are used for F-35 stealth technology, for infrared kind of flares, for ammunition, for nuclear reactors, and name a thing. Without these things, for hypersonic missiles, Internet of Things, 5G, 6G. So without these minerals, the US cannot think of actually shaping up or shoring up to contain and contest its number one strategic enemy, that is China. So therefore, he's put its finger. Number two thing which is coming to my mind is that the biggest challenge, why Ukraine is going through what it is going through today, it's a proxy. Ukraine and Russia are not fighting against each other. There are conglomerates behind Ukraine who have joined together and they are making use of Ukraine as a proxy to fight against Russia. Russia is not going to invade. Like I said, the threat of 21st century is a different threat which we experience in 20th century. So under these circumstances, The biggest threat today is the weaponization of the minerals. And the weaponization of mineral will happen provided the US has got some control. And this is a place where it is going to put its footprint, make sure that the mineral extraction takes place. And it's a matter of detail. A lot of complications will come out. It is not that simple. Also, at the same time, it will be able to address multiple issues by throwing one stone. The multiple issue is that the security architecture which is absent today, consequent to disintegration of USSR, when James Baker had given an assurance, there is an agreement existing between the Western Alliance, that is the NATO forces. He had given a commitment to Mikhail Gorbachev on 9th, if I recall correctly, 9th of February 1990 in Moscow itself, that not an inch of sphere of influence of NATO will expand. And this was a commitment being given on what backdrop? The backdrop of East and West Germany were to unify. And they wanted to extract it from Mikhail Gorbachev. Mikhail Gorbachev said, yes, but the condition is this. So after that condition was met, how is that the 12 founding members have become 32 now? NATO. So this is a moot question. So what is the architecture which is going to exist? Therefore, USA, in my opinion, I personally feel, in the garb of the mineral deal, will have its presence, its footprint in the Donbas region, thereby ensuring that there is no foul play carried out to trigger a future war. And this is the start point to ensure a ceasefire. One. Number two, what is next? A very good question you have asked. How are they going to resolve, ensure ceasefire, bring about a closure of this particular mindless war? In my opinion, I personally feel that neither Zelenskyy will agree, foregoing the 20% of land which has been occupied by Russia so far, nor Putin is going to actually let go of what they have occupied, whether it is Crimea or Georgia or 20% of the Donbas region. It is not possible. So therefore, a most practical solution would be little bit of give and take here and there, a line of control concept which actually is lasted between India and Pakistan for so long here. Not that it is an ideal solution, but it is actually brought some kind of a relative peace between Pakistan and India along the line of control. So that may not be a permanent solution, but then to look for a permanent solution, some kind of a start point has to be made. And thereafter, we go in for some presence of neutral element at United Nations peacekeepers, not the Europeans. I don't think it is going to be accepted to Russians in any way. So therefore, to summarize what I have said, first and foremost thing, it's a damn good strategic, I would say, majestic kind of a thought process by Donald Trump, must go in for the mineral deal. And along with the mineral deal, he should also ensure that the ceasefire is actually effected along as is where is basis on a line of control concept. There should be ceasefire, at least for a month to start with. Thereafter, we can extend it to 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Third thing is the conditionalities must be rolled out. Right now itself, in phase 1, so and so thing will happen. Phase 2, so and so thing will happen. Troops will withdraw to a respectable distance, and thereafter, a lasting peace can be worked out between both the countries. Back to you, Devika.
All right, Major Sudhakarji, thank you so much for joining us this morning.